I didn't start Rooted in Igbo Love, a matchmaking service, because people can't find wives or husbands. I started it because too many people are entering marriage unprepared. My name is Ada, and I created Rooted in Igbo Love, a matchmaking service, out of a pattern I keep seeing, especially among intelligent, successful Igbo men and women. On paper, everything looks right. Education, faith, careers, family values. But when it comes to forming healthy, sustainable marriages, something isn't translating, and there are consequences. Let's talk about the problems that I'm observing. What I've noticed is this: single people aren't struggling to meet other single people. The problem is they're struggling to choose wisely and to prepare honestly. I also notice there's sometimes an illusion of how much time you have, and you allow other things to take priority, or you devalue certain things. And that's when people underestimate how quickly months can pass, and that leads them to staying in stagnant relationships or situationships. They ignore red flags. They believe that they have unlimited time to evaluate their partner. This often stems from trying to control rather than experience the pace of the relationship. Another problem that I've seen, people are not doing deep introspective work, or not enough of it. The first step to being part of creating a healthy marriage is self-examination, which goes beyond self-reflection and self-awareness. From what I've gathered in conversations, the knowledge of what it takes to make a healthy marriage seems like it's not common sense, or at least not common knowledge. We're seeing it more clearly when people say comments like, oh, married people are gatekeepers. Another problem I realize, some people don't realize that titles like husband and wife doesn't make you a good partner. You can be a husband and not a good partner, and vice versa. It's easy to point out how someone else is not a good partner, but what about you? Can you point out how you would not be a good partner? Can you be truthful and vulnerable at pointing out and facing all the ways that you're not a good partner? Another problem that I've noticed, I think, is best explained as an analogy or metaphor. So where are my WWE fans, or better yet, WWF fans, if you go way back? If you're not a fan, it's okay, you're welcome. But first of all, disclaimer, I don't condone violence, okay? But let's think about tag team matches. Those of us who follow the program got to know the characters. We usually have an idea of which pair of people would make a good tag team partner and which pair would not. And then think about the qualities that would make you consider somebody a good tag team partner. First and foremost, they're loyal, they're committed, they're attentive, their ego is well managed, or as we would like to say, a healthy ego, right? They're a good loser. They have good sportsmanship. They're emotionally mature and regulated, enough to create emotional safety for others. They have a level of selflessness that also comes back to ego. You have aligned values with each other. There's a friendship, patience, and trust. And there are many other qualities we can list. Marriage requires you to choose your best tag team partner. This is the person who will be in the ring with you or ringside while you both face the world and all the things of the world. And these things will influence or attack your marriage. This is the person that you can count on to be the wise one when you are not being the wise one, when you're being foolish, reckless, or emotional. But first, you have to be self-aware and self-examine yourself enough to call yourself out, whether you're being foolish, whether you're being reckless, or whether you're being emotional. And then allow yourself to listen to this person as the voice of wisdom, as the voice of reason for whatever that situation is. Another problem that I see in our community, many people are carrying pressure instead of curating clarity. So they're meeting cultural expectations instead of practicing emotional readiness. They are motivated by urgency instead of moving with discernment. In Igbo culture, something that's meant to guide us is often used as a shortcut or burden instead of wisdom. And sometimes this is a problem that people don't realize that they're experiencing. And this brings me to cultural tension. We can feel the cultural tension on the institution of marriages in many cultures, especially as we are all moving around the world and getting influenced by other cultures. Igbo culture is not exempt from this tension. In Igbo culture, marriage is important. It's respected. It's communal. It involves two families coming together. But that cultural importance has slowly turned into pressure, especially for Igbo women and increasingly for Igbo men too. People are usually praised for getting married, but not for being prepared for marriage or doing the work to prepare for marriage. Sometimes we hear language around marriage will mature someone. Sometimes people will say, oh, you are so blank. Then why are you not married? So how do you answer that question? Do you get defensive or do you get reflective? Think about it. And no one really slows down to ask, are you emotionally regulated? Do you understand partnership? Can you take responsibility, not just provide? And do you think marriage is about how much you can endure or not? So what internal work are you doing to prepare yourself for a healthy marriage? What work still needs to be done on your personal development, your belief systems, or your values, or your character? How can you be proactive in your personal development to be a spouse? We know all about personal development when it comes to our careers. So what kind of a wife do you want to be? What kind of a husband do you want to be? And that kind of a wife or husband you're looking for, what would they want? What do you think they're looking for? And how does that align with how you've envisioned yourself? And then there's also the busy Igbo professional living outside of Igbo land who values traditional Igbo family heritage, but lacks the time or the social circle to meet high quality, culturally compatible singles. I believe marriage is not something you rush into to meet a timeline, whether it's your timeline or someone else's timeline. It's something you prepare for because another human being, another life will be deeply affected by your choices. I believe compatibility is more than attraction or shared culture. It's about values, emotional safety, communication, and accountability. And I believe culture should support healthy marriages, not used to trap people inside marriage with silence, fear, or obligation. So let's clarify what Igbo Matchmaker is and is not. Igbo Matchmaker is not about speed dating. It's not driven by desperation, and it's not about putting people together just because they look good on paper. It's about slowing down, asking better questions, and helping people approach marriage with intention, not panic. We're not here to promote anyone will do. So sometimes that means telling people they're not ready yet. And sometimes that's the most loving thing we can do. So who's this for? Igbo Matchmaker is for men and women who are serious about marriage. Not perfect, but serious. People who are willing to reflect, people who are open to guidance, and people who understand that marriage is not a reward. It's a responsibility. I didn't create this because I have all the answers. I created it because the conversations aren't happening honestly, and they're not happening enough. And marriage deserves more than silence, pressure, or performance. If this resonates with you, if you're thinking seriously about marriage and you want clarity rooted in Igbo culture, discernment, and responsibility, check the links in the description box. This channel will continue these conversations slowly and honestly. See you all next time.